Hey everyone, good evening, and it's Brian from Bear Bull Traders here on Sunday, March the 28th. And hope everyone's had a good weekend and looking forward to another week of trading. Actually, it's going to be a short week this week. Seems like Good Friday is coming early this year, so April 2nd is Good Friday, this coming Friday, so it will be a short week, short trading week, 4 days. So we'll look forward to seeing what's going to come this week. And let's take a look at what we've got on the books here already. Take a look back and maybe you know, get some ideas as to where we might be going next week. So you can see here the way we closed on all the indexes. Man, we had a 1 hour at the end of the day there that just everything went higher. And I don't know if that was just a big time short squeeze. There wasn't a lot of volume on this buying, and so it just everything just got driven up higher right into the close. So we closed near the highs of the day on all the indexes on Friday. So let's take a deeper dive and look at how we did on the week here. Let's start out with the 10-year, the 20-year Treasury bonds. You can see here on this week they actually popped back up. Had a down day Thursday and Friday, even though it's interesting because the Nasdaq actually started to come back, and all of a sudden, what was important to the Nasdaq seemed to become less important as interest rates started to go higher again, and the Nasdaq kind of ignored it. So I think the market and maybe investors have kind of moved on to the next shiny thing for the time being. But let's just take a look here. You can see we did have a bit of an uptick in the yields on Friday, but it didn't seem to matter, as I mentioned. You can see here on the 10-year Treasury again popped up, and on the weekly, so we were down on the week about 4% on these on the 10-year on the Treasuries. Yields were down, the prices were up. And the transports, we just ripped higher. We broke out to a new high on Friday. Probably just a lot of that was probably just into the close. But again, volume kind of anemic, not great, even though we did go higher. Stochastics getting overbought again, but convincing move higher, getting a little bit overbought on the RSI as well. On the weekly, again, pushing to an all-time high, went out near high of the week. So, certainly the transports and the Dow, which is seemed to be closely related to the transports, is looking like they're still staying strong and still in an uptrend and getting really overbought here on the weekly. Again, volume not bad over the entire couple of weeks here. Taking a look at that. Again, stochastics showing we're really overbought here. The Dow on the daily again pushed right back up. Wasn't an all-time high, but it probably closed at the high, at or near the high. High was closed on that 33.015. We closed 33.072, so that was an all-time high in the Dow. And you can see here on the daily we closed up 1.25%. On the week, again, all-time high. And again, not bad on volume on the Dow. The Dow is definitely the index that seems to be moving us higher here. The Qs, again, seems to be struggling, but in my mind, I think the Qs are sort of in that look like they're in the mode that they want to go higher here. So I think you're going to see a rotation next week. We may see a rotation back into some technology names. You can see here it is trying to hold this 309, 310 level, and we certainly did that on Friday. And I think we may be going higher on the Qs next week as money maybe starts to look at the Dow, thinking maybe we're a little overbought, and may come back to the Qs here now that interest rates aren't that much of a concern anymore. So you can see a bit of an indecision candle on the week. We were up 1% on the week on the Qs. Volume was pretty decent. So watch the Qs next week. I kind of think that as we go through some of the watch list stocks, you'll see there's some double bottoms being put in as well. We'll get there in a minute. And again, SPY, 395.96, 395.98, so pretty close to closing at all-time high on the SPY as well. Decent volume on the daily, and indicators all looking like it wants to go higher. The SPY here on the weekly looking strong. Again, volume pretty good. And yeah, all the indicators, stochastics overbought here, and RSI still not overbought, but heading that direction. And the IWM, again, an index that's not doing quite as well. We had a not bad day on Friday, went out near the high of the day, tried to recapture that 50. And again, RSI is coming back to the 50 level. Pretty decent volume on Thursday, but Friday was not particularly good. We do seem to be putting in maybe a bit of a rounding bottom here on the stochastics. I always like to look at that as a leading indicator. If you look at here, stochastics rounding bottom around this 20 level, and you can see here how we pop back up again, rounding bottom here as we bottomed out and started to go higher on the stochastics again. Same with this one here. So maybe we're going to continue higher here. Stochastics looking like they're indicating IWM maybe getting a bid here next week. On the week we were down over 2.5% on the week on volume. So again, I think we might be actually getting a bid. Like I said, maybe some money looking for some areas that are a little beaten up, rotating back into those. And the dollar's just been on a tear here. You can see we had a bit of an inside day on Friday, and it's at, stalling out at the 200-day moving average, which maybe isn't surprising. We might get a bit of a pullback here, but watch, if dollar strength continues, obviously you're going to hurt the emerging markets, some of the gold silver trade, which hasn't been doing great either. And I was looking at Bitcoin because I know a few people trade it here. It does seem to be sort of consolidating. You can see here it's just chopping in this range and holding these sort of trapped between these two moving averages here right now. And yeah, not hard to say where it's going from here. So let's take a quick look at the sectors. I like to do that. You can see here on Friday again, SPY, very strong. Discretionary got a bit of a bid here on Thursday and Friday. And so that kind of came back up. Communications still taking a beating, but or at least taking a beating this week. Technology again bounced back. Again, I'm looking for this sort of a double bottom pattern here, and I'm looking for that to hold. And I think we're going to go back up. And I don't know if we'll test the all-time high, but I think we've got a bit of a bid there now. Industrials breaking out, materials breaking out again. One of the things that we've got coming up here, obviously, next thing on deck for the White House is this infrastructure package. So I'd be watching some of the infrastructure plays, industrials, materials, obviously part of that. Energy is looking like it's maybe catching a bid here. Could be possibly the Suez Canal thing going on, amongst other things. Staples, just, this has been the defensive trade, has been selling off, really tearing here. XLV, healthcare really took off. Again, utilities, safety trade took off a bit. And then the financials caught a bid at the end of the week as interest rates started to go back up again. And then the real estate really, it's surprising, the real estate really took off there. It's not a sector I usually watch, but it's very strong. Okay, so let's take a look at a few stocks that I've got on watch here for next week. As I said, I like some of the technology sector. So let's start at one that's really been sold off, some downgrades, Discovery Channel. And I'm going to Viacom's chart looks very similar to this one. Nice rise up here over the last almost 3 months here. Some downgrades. Viacom did a secondary offering at 85 and just got slaughtered. And you can see here, Discovery Channel again, kind of started out with that secondary from Viacom and then downgrades, and then it just got nailed. So I've got an alert here set around 35. So I'll be looking to see if this pulls back here again to test 35. Look at this drop from 80. It's basically was halved in value over the week, which is just crazy. So looking for a bit of a bounce here. Again, stochastics really oversold here, and they do like watching the stochastics for oversold conditions because they can often be a sort of a leading indicator of a bounce back. So I'll be looking for this to see if we will probably get some more selling. It probably will retest somewhere around this level. And if it does, I will look to take an entry and use a 35 stop. And we'll see how that trade goes if I do get an entry on it. Again, I have to set an alert set. So I'm looking at some double bottoms here on some stuff. And if you recall, Biden's looking at this infrastructure play. Some of the stuff he's obviously keen on is the green energy, Green Deal, green technologies. So I think, they've been sold off with this tech sell-off. And I believe now that the focus will be back on these infrastructures and infrastructure spending. It's hard to say, infrastructure spending. I think that some of these will start to catch a bit again with that. So if you look at FCell putting in a nice double bottom here, I like to trade these double bottoms. This is an area where we've had some prior resistance, breakthrough, and then became support. And now this was support here, and again, it looks like we're getting some support here. So FCell looking kind of interesting. Again, stochastics, I'd like to see this a little lower, but I'm looking for a bit of a bounce here on FCell. NIO, we all know the deal with the car companies, and it's obviously extending to the EVs as well. Semiconductor shortages. I think NIO's has to scale back on their deliveries. So does Tesla, as well as all the other big car companies are all having the same issues with their chips that go in the cars. So looking at NIO here again, double bottom. This is this 36 level, sort of 35.50. If it can hold, again another double bottom trade. Would like to see it maybe. We'll see if it does hold there. Stochastics aren't getting really overbought yet. You can see here when the stochastics really get overbought, it's usually a good indication of a bottom. The more oversold they get, the better the bottom is. So you can see here again. So keeping an eye on NIO, maybe take an entry there. See how it opens. Nike, I think Nike can be bought. It's back up here. Had some bad news or negative news out of China, being critical of some of their human rights practices. It really got sold off here. This would have been a good day to take the trade back here. Again, stocks usually vacillate when you get some bad news coming out, something that's not, that you might not consider to be overly material because the Chinese sector isn't that much of their business, but there's always an overreaction in the marketplace, and this would have been the time to take it. But I am going to watch this because I think Nike's a solid company, and it'll probably come back here, maybe trading a little bit more. We'll set an alert here around 130, and see if we get an opportunity to get in there. PLTR again, just holding this level here, this 22 sort of 50 level. You can see this has been support here, support here, it's been support here, it's been support here, and now it's almost become a little bit of a resistance. But if we can start to break out from this level, maybe we'll get a bit of a pop here. Volume not great. Qualcomm, again, another double bottom trade, and you can see here held the 200-day, held the 200-day here, held the 200-day here. A nice pop on Friday, and looking for maybe a continuation move higher on Qualcomm as well. Stochastic starting to hook up here. MACD looking, histogram has gone positive. RSI is looking good, so we'll watch that. Maybe get a pullback to this sort of 130 level, 129.50. Set an alert there, and if it fires off, maybe take a position on that. Again, this infrastructure trade. Rent-A-Center, UNH, another one I believe, like United Rentals, not UNH, but United Rentals, or URI I believe, could be another good trade for infrastructure. Rocket Mortgage, again, this is another one that's kind of interesting, held its 50 moving average here and bouncing back up. You can see how much this can move on a decent on some decent volume. So I think it's maybe found a base here. Again, same sort of narrative, same story. Infrastructure trade. Again, it's put in a double bottom, green energy, and we're really off the highs. We put in a triple top, which you don't often see, usually just a double. Some people say a triple top doesn't exist, but you know they have to look at TAN to think that's not true. So anyway, it looks like we put in a bit of a double bottom here on TAN, and might be a decent trade for a move higher on this news for the infrastructure. I'm looking at natural gas here. Been staying away from the commodities, but you can kind of see here how this downtrend line has been broken, connecting these tops of these candles here all the way down, and you can see here we kind of started to break out, and now a bit of consolidation, and now breaking higher. Again, stochastics indicating that a bottom's been put in here. MACD histogram going positive. So I'm looking at UNG. Energy, again, another one, could be an interesting play, especially with the current situation in the Suez Canal. And yin I've got up there, really oversold Chinese. The Chinese stocks have been really oversold, but I think there's a lot of concern on the front regarding the Chinese government and maybe some taking some aggressive intervention in some of these companies and some of their activities. So let's wrap things up here. You can see where the futures markets right now indicating a red opening here. Dow down about 100 points, NASDAQ down about 63, and the Russell down 11, SPY down 17. So we'll see how things open up in the morning. The oil, natural gas, all looking positive right now. And on the Treasury yields, you can see here there isn't much movement to speak of, at least as of yet. So for the coming week, we've got Micron, Lulu, Chewy, a few of the companies that are reporting, and we'll see how Micron trades. That should be interesting given the chip situation. So that's it. Let's do a wrap here. Let's watch for some more strength, or at least a little bit of a comeback, maybe some rotation back into the technology sector. We've got some double bottoms being put in by a number of companies, and so we'll see if those double bottoms, that second bottom, can hold. And yeah, so my book on Amazon, How to Swing Trade, if you have not checked it out yet. So hit that like button and subscribe to our service. And again, we'll be starting the market show in the morning, 8 o'clock Eastern Time with Jared engineering the markets. Pre-market show 8:30 with Norman Carlos, and then trading the market open at 9:30 with myself and hopefully Andrew. So we'll see you all in the morning, hopefully. Take care. Have the good rest of the evening, everybody. Bye for now.